Sandi Toksvig, and this is What the Dickens, the TV equivalent of a visit to a museum or gallery, but without the annoying schoolchildren, moody guards and overpriced gift shop. Joining team captain Chris Addison tonight is an actor and impressionist who does a very accurate impersonation of Angus Dayton. He's even gone so far as to host Have I Got News For You, although he did draw the line when producers offered him the usual hookers and cocaine. Please welcome Alistair McGowan. And with Sue Perkins, the host of Just a Minute, the radio panel show which recently celebrated an incredible 650th edition. And he's far too modest to say it himself, but I'd say he's very nearly got the hang of presenting it. Please welcome Nicholas Parsons. The first round is 3 steps to heaven. The teams are given 3 photos, each offering them a clue to a famous film, book, play or musical. Now, 3 points are awarded should they guess the answer from the first image, which is normally very, very tricky. 2 points for the slightly less tricky second picture, and just 1 point for the ever so easy third picture. So, Chris and Alistair, you're going to start us off. Here is your first picture clue. So, referee, he's eyeing up the snooker balls. They're the important bit. I would go.
The important. He's eyeing up the snooker balls.
The blue. I'm going to say blue. I'm going to say the word blue. Does it give you any?
Blue velvet.
The blue.
The Blue Lagoon.
Blue.
Deep blue.
I'm going to say yellow and brown as well, just to help you out there.
Blue, yellow and brown. Oh,
Yeah.
colours of a rainbow. Finian's rainbow. The rainbow.
Rainbow. Oh, anything with a rainbow. No. I tell you what. Let's have a look.
Somewhere over the rainbow. The Wizard of Oz.
Are you ready for the second picture?
Yeah.
Okay. Here's the second picture clue.
Pictures at Tiffany's.
Let's have a look at the 2 pictures together. We've got the colours of the snooker. So the colours of the snooker balls will help you.
Yellow, brown.
Think specifically of jewellery shops. A snooker cue might come in handy. It's a possibility.
Jewellery, not jewellery shop.
Do you want to look at the third picture?
Yes. Give us the
Okay,
third
let's
picture.
look at the third picture. Okay, that is Evander Holyfield's bitten ear.
Oh, got it. It's Reservoir Dogs.
Yes, it is Reservoir Dogs. Well done.
This game is much more difficult than I realised.
Oh, you'll be fine. I like you, Nicholas. I'll tell you what the answer is. We're fine.
Right. Oh, thank you.
The answer is, of course, Reservoir Dogs, Quentin Tarantino's debut film. The characters in Reservoir Dogs are referred to by their code names, Mr. White, Mr. Brown, Mr. Blue, and so on. See, the clue was in the colour of the balls there.
But what confused me with that film as a snooker player was that they killed Mr. Brown, Mr. Yellow and Mr. Blue, but they hadn't gone for Mr. Red first.
The film itself depicts what happened before and after a jewellery heist that went wrong, hence the jewellery. And the third clue represents the scene in which Mr. Blonde cuts off the captured police officer's ear, and of course the excessive blood that flows throughout the film. So 1 point to Chris and Alistair. There's an aspect of Reservoir Dogs that's shared with the taking of Pelham 123. Anybody know what it is?
Is it the same woman does the deaf language at the side when you watch it on BBC Two late?
Curiously, yes, that was the answer I was looking for.
You know, Ben Stiller's father was in Taking Pelham 123.
As an
Give him a
actor,
point. Give him a point to that. Give him a point to that.
I think for trivia that deserves
That's
something.
very good. He's an actor
I
as
didn't
well,
actually
isn't
hear
he?
what you said. What was it again?
Ben Stiller's father.
Yeah.
Ben
Don't,
Stiller's
don't,
father.
he's just going to get you for repetition.
Ben Stiller's father is in the Taking of Pelham 123. The original,
right.
not
Do you
the
know who
remake.
Ben Stiller is?
Yes, he's a film actor and a star.
Yes. Jerry Stiller was in Pelham 123.
Darling, you asked me to be your companion and
Yes.
guest, but don't make out that I'm an idiot as well.
I'm just saying, I was just speaking louder because you couldn't hear what he was saying.
I have a tendency to mumble.
He does.
That's why I do other people's voices all the time.
He
because I
said he
mumble.
mumbles. Oh, I've lost the will to live. Moving on. Sue and Nicholas,
Yes.
it's over to you now. Here is your first picture clue.
Right. Gone with the Wind.
Ah, it should be.
Yes.
It's the actress Juliet Aubrey on a blustery street corner.
on the
I
way?
would say the clue here is the weather and where Juliet is standing.
Corner. Stormy
Yes.
corner.
Stormy weather.
Kind of, yes.
Windy corner.
Windy corner
Windy
is
corner
terribly
is in.
important.
Windy corner, isn't it? Toe to toe. Wind of the Willows? Is it Windy corner? Anne of Green Gables. Is it in Gillian McKeith's latest book? Winnie the Pooh lived in Windy corner.
No, he didn't. He lived in the woods.
Lived in 100 Acre Wood.
Somebody did.
Let's take a look at the next picture. Okay, who's that?
She
Florence
looks
Nightingale.
like she's been in a wind tunnel, and luckily she's pinned down that little floral headgear. Is it a Bronte? Is it
No, it's not a Bronte, no.
George
It's
Eliot?
Gaskell.
It's the Lady of the Lamp.
Oh, Florence Nightingale.
Florence
Never
Nightingale.
is.
Is. So let's have a look at the two pictures together.
Okay, Lady of the Lamp.
So what do we have? The first picture is...
She's dead, you know.
Windy
Windy
Corner.
Corner.
And who
Corner.
is the person in the second photograph?
She's Florence
Florence
Nightingale.
Nightingale.
Florence, okay.
People never
Florence.
smiled in those
So
days, did
just take half of... there's only half a
Ah,
picture of her.
Nightingale. Nightingale
Gale
sang in
sang-
Berkeley Square.
No, I
Corner
go
of
with...
Windy... take half of one. Windy Nightingale. Windy Lamp.
Okay.
Florence Corner.
Okay, you are obviously in desperate need of the picture clue. So take a look at that. What do we have? This, I think this gives it away. It's an unfurnished room with one focal point, which is a window.
Windows
Room
of
with a view.
views.
It's room with a view. Thank you very much.
I'm an idiot.
Windy Corner, Florence Nightingale.
You ask her what it's got to do with...
What's that got to do with Florence Nightingale?
Well,
Yeah, he's
I will
furious.
allow me to tell you. The
Furious.
correct answer is, of course, room with a view. The first picture of a blustery Juliet Aubrey should have led you to Windy Corner, as indeed it did. Which was the name of the house in England?
I thought it was poo.
Florence is where half of the book is set, and the last picture of a room
Clever,
with a view
Clever, innit?
was a massive clue to the book's title, but you get 1 point. Well done.
Right. You do have to work hard for your points.
Oh, yes.
It's not like just a minute when you just buzz, buzz, buzz.
People never smiled in those portraits, though, did they, in those days?
No, miserable.
Why were they so miserable? You never see them like Florence Nightingale or anybody going, hey!
And do you know why the Mona Lisa wasn't painted with a smile on her face? Because she had false teeth.
Is that right?
That's a fact. Nobody knows that. Oh, they...
How do you know this, Nicholas? Did she tell you?
She whistled it.
Thank you very much. It's a fact. I don't know how I discovered it. It's one of those bits of trivia that I pick up as I
You've been on
travel.
Wikipedia again, haven't you, Nicholas?
No, I haven't.
You don't want to believe it.
Our next round is Love It or Loathe It, in which our guests choose something from the arts which they must claim that they both love and then loathe in turn. The opposing team gets to question them and must then decide which of the opinions held is true. So, Alistair, you have the pleasure of going first. And what have you chosen?
I've chosen the career, films and life of Woody Allen.
And are you going to begin by loving or loathing Mr. Allen?
Loving.
Right, you have a minute to love Woody Allen, beginning now.
For 40 years, Woody Allen's been making the most amazing films. He is an absolutely tireless filmmaker. I went to New York City for the first time recently, and every part of it, every aspect of it, every building there, every person reminded me of something out of a Woody Allen film. He has given us New York. He's also given us an incredibly fresh style of acting, which is semi-improvised, and in the scenes with Diane Keaton where he's semi-improvising the dialogue with her, I think are some of the best in cinema history. He's also, along with Diane Keaton, fallen in love, or they have fallen in love with him, some of the most beautiful women in Hollywood history, which always gives me hope that women do go for humour above looks. And I just think if imitation, you know, is the sincerest form of flattery, then, you know, no wonder so many impressionists, professional and amateur, you know, do Woody Allen, because the man's a genius.
Well, that does sound like love to me. Alistair, I'm now going to ask you to present the opposing view and loathe Mr. Allen, please.
Okay. The fact that Woody Allen has been endlessly making movies for the last 40 years means that he's got totally divorced from life. His films have no reality in them, they have no wit in them. He's been basically making the same jokes since 1968, and it wasn't funny then. His world of New York intellectuals is of no interest to anybody in the UK, or anybody in the US, or anybody in New York, or any of the New York intellectuals that he pertains to parody. He's been giving the same performance in the same films for 40 years. And if he's not in them, then somebody else would do a dreadful impression of his dreadful work, like Kenneth Branagh in Celebrity and Rebecca Hall in his latest rubbish film, Vicky Cristina Barcelona. He's obsessed with sex and young women, and the fact that they fall in love with him is, as far as I'm concerned, the only thing in his films in 40 years that is completely laughable. He is very easy to imitate, you know, because basically he's been doing the same neurotic New Yorker act for the last 40 years, and if I had one word to Mr. Allen of advice, it would be stop.
You think he what?
He loves him.
He loves him.
Oh, yes.
You think he loves him?
And I'll tell you why.
Oh.
He is a very professional performer. he admires this talent and the skill of this unique personality, Woody Allen, and I thought that was all utterly manufactured about hating him. No, I think he's a great fan and advocate of the unique personality of Woody
I go
Allen.
with my learned gentleman friend.
Miss McGowan, they have decided that you love Woody Allen. Please reveal the truth.
Who couldn't?
So Sue and Nicholas get 2 points there. Okay, now it's Nicholas's turn to love and to loathe something from the world of the arts. Nicholas, what have you chosen?
I've chosen the incomparable Charles Chaplin.
And would you like to love or loathe Mr. Chaplin?
I will start off by loving him. Charlie Chaplin is a genius, a comic genius. I mean, no man has achieved more internationally, worldwide, than this amazing little comic performer. I think of one particular scene which epitomizes to me his huge talent, and that was in that amazing film, The Gold Rush, where he was in a hut with some strange character, and they were starving, they were really desperate for food, and he gets his boots and picks them apart, and he cooks them. You know, the sole becomes a steak. And then, of course, when the nails were there, he took them out as bones. I mean, this was creative comic genius of a very individual kind. And the payoff was, of course, the bootlaces he treated as spaghetti. And the picture on his face as he chewed this amazing thing was incredible comic performance and creativity. He was a comic genius.
Well done. Fantastic. So, Nicholas, please can we hear your opposing argument? I would now ask you to loathe Charlie Chaplin.
Charles Chaplin, an overrated comedian. How anybody can claim that this man was such an icon of comedy. He was absolutely ridiculous. I mean, he had something to recommend him, but really he's idolized by some people, which is absolute mystery to me. Think of his contemporaries. Buster Keaton, brilliant visual comedian with his deadpan face. Laurel and Hardy, Harold Lloyd. I mean, they were comic geniuses in comparison with this man. Overrated and unbelievable, the things that he would do. It mystifies me that somebody can keep on saying Charlie Chaplin, a comic genius, when he was surrounded by other comic geniuses. Why is he so overrated? It's a complete mystery to me.
Does Nicholas love or loathe Chaplin?
Well, Nicholas is a man of words, and Chaplin was not a man of words, so I could believe that he wouldn't like him.
I think you love him.
Okay.
And you think I loathe him, so what do I do?
What are we going for?
No,
Well,
I think...
To be honest, you've got the casting vote.
Yes. I was convinced by your performance both ways, and I can see why somebody would love him and hate him, of course,
So-
but I'm going to go with my captain.
Okay,
Go
they're
with
saying
love.
that you love him.
I'll take responsibility for this.
They're saying you love him, Nicholas.
Please open your envelope.
Yeah, of course you do.
I can tell you that was the most difficult thing I've ever had to do in my life. Talk about a man who is a comic genius whom I love to the ends of the world and say that I loathe him.
Well, luckily, Nicholas, like the Jeremy Kyle show, we have counsellors backstage waiting for you.
Next time you need to pick hip-hop.
Yes, right, yeah.
Of course, Nicholas Parsons loves Charles Chaplin for many good reasons, as we've heard, but what really swung it was the fact that they went to school together.
So sorry, Sam.
He was actually my fag.
That's why he remained silent for so long.
It's now time for us to take a short break, but before we do, here's a question for you at home. What role did Charlie Chaplin's daughter Geraldine play in the making of the 1992 film Chaplin? We will give you the answer in just a few minutes.